Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thank you so much for joining me. So, next time you cut envelopes down to size to use in your journals, see what you can do with the leftovers. I've got some ideas for you today. So the first thing that I want to share with you is this little, almost like a triple pocket. So we've got a pocket in the front. This was part of the envelope flap. The whole thing is open for a pocket. And then the whole thing can be glued down as a belly band or as a side tuck. So 3 pockets in one. And then with these, this was just essentially the bottom of an envelope. So I folded it over, decorated it up. And what you've got here is the envelope is still open for your pockets at the top. And what else you can do with these is they can be almost like over the page pockets. So you've got your pocket there. You could have this flip open for a writing spot if you want, or just have it glued down. And then on the other side, this would be glued down and then you'd have your pocket. Equally, that could be the side that flips open. Alternatively, you could always just clip these onto your page. You could have these in pockets, so you've got a secret writing space to open up to find. Or you could just glue them down fully and just use them as pockets. They don't have to be flip outs. Yeah, but essentially those are the ideas I'm going to be sharing with you today, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, so yeah, it's really easy to do. So all I'm going to do is just cover, so we'll do the first ones. This is the like wraparound double pocket writing spot thing. So all it's a case of doing is just covering your, just going to turn that over actually. Yeah, just covering it up with your chosen paper, so like so. And what I'm doing is I'm covering the side that has the, you know, the bumpy like glued together part. I'm covering that so that you don't see that part. So I'm just going to do that first of all. I had a few different ideas for these. They could have been, well, they could have been anything really, but I did think at one point that I was going to do belly bands and side tucks, which yeah, I could have done, but yeah, I just fancied doing something a bit different with these really. So I'm going to go ahead and get these covered up, and then, I mean, it's a really simple idea. You can probably guess what I'm doing straight away. Well, that one's being a bit longer. Okay, let's go with this one. This is from my She Wanders digital. It's like hiking forest kind of kit, and I've got some nice like daisies and stuff in there. So I might do a few of these so that I don't end up with a load of scraps at the end. So let me get these glued on, and then yeah, I'll show you the next part of it really. So I'm just cutting them out with my blunt scissors because we don't want to cut through the envelope, cut through the pocket. But whilst I'm doing this, I just wanted to mention that you could absolutely do this with book pages or other paper. You would just have to fold it up, glue either edge, and then from there you've got a wraparound pocket that you can decorate, you know, fold up and decorate. So I just wanted to mention, you know, I'm doing this with these envelope bottoms, for want of a better word. But, you know, you could do it with lots of different things. I've done these ones upside down, but I don't think that necessarily matters that much. I wasn't paying attention to which way round the writing was, but oh well. So, right, once you've got those, we just want to glue up the open sides to create our little pocket. But yeah, I mean, I could have done anything with these really, as I said, but this was the idea that came to me, so I thought I would just do a quick video on it, because it's not, you know, it's one of those easy makes that you can do, you know, in front of the telly, just very quickly. And yeah, you might like the idea. So I'm just gluing up all of those open sides. It's going to look really nice with the daisies on, because my digital has different like patterns and stuff in there. So there's like a burlap and a linen, and then like green, you know, green, whatchamacallit, like distressed green. So some of them have picked up, you know, different parts of it, which is quite nice. So that is that. So the next part is to fold them so that the white space is on the inside. Now I've just been folding them in half, but you don't have to do that. You could fold them, you know, at different, so one side is bigger than the other, but yeah, I just thought keep it easy. It was just, you know, rather than, you know, throw them in the bin kind of a thing. So I'm just giving those edges just a really good burnish down with the bone folder. Now in hindsight, I'm thinking, because I'm using thicker paper than the book page ones, I maybe should have thought about, you know, folding the envelope bottom before gluing the paper on, because they've gone a little bit bumpy. But I think once I've got them under something heavy, I think it will be just fine. But yeah, I think if I'd folded them first, it would have been better, but you know. It's just a quick make, it's just, you know, to save them going in the bin, really. That's all it was. So I'll do that, and as mentioned, I'm keeping them, you know, decoration wise. I'm not doing a whole heap on them because I don't think they necessarily need it. Apart from these ones, now that the writing is upside down, maybe I'll feel differently about these two. But the point was to try and keep them, you know, relatively neutral. So yeah, you've got your part of the envelope there, and on the other side I do need to do some gluing, better gluing, and then yeah, you can open it up for a bit of a writing spot. So for these, all I did was just did some bit of a lace detail at the top there, just to give that something, and then I was probably going to decorate this up when I come to use it. But yeah, that's the idea for those, really. So I may as well go ahead and put some lace across these. But other than inking them, that was kind of the idea. So I hope that you understood what I was saying about, you know, going ahead and gluing down one side of it to the other page, because you need something that will anchor it. You could clip them onto the page. You wouldn't, you know, you don't have to, you know, glue them as such, but yeah, I just thought it would be a fun thing to do with them, really. So I'm going to battle with this lace because it's a little bit scrunched up where I've dyed it, tea dyed it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and yeah, come back, and I need to do some inking as well. So I'll do all of that, and then you can sort of see how these came about. Okay, so I've mostly finished battling with that lace now. I still need to do a little bit of gluing in places, but my sinuses are starting to play up again, so I thought I would leave it as that for now. But I just wanted to show you yeah, how they came about. So you saw me doing the daisy ones, so I just kept it really simple with that lace. I just think that looks really lovely, very like spring green kind of colours, those. And then yeah, I wanted to mention the ones where I accidentally glued the music sheet upside down, so there was text the wrong way round. This one I decided to put some washi. I wanted to go the whole way across, but I didn't have enough. This was actually the end of the roll, so I just did a little bit of a torn edge across there. So you've got the music sheet with the little bit of the washi, and then obviously I can further decorate that one up. And then yeah, I'd probably put like a word or something, but these are very autumnal. I just really love that washi, don't you? So that's that one. And then this was the other one where it had upside down text. So again, I didn't have enough of that wide washi, so I actually did 2 washis, and then I put that lace through the middle. So when you look at it on the page, you've got this little pocket. I know it says autumn, but these can go into stash for later in the year. But yeah, a little bit of the music sheet, and then the word autumn there, and then the same on that side. But I really like how they've turned out, really, all things considered. Just a very, very simple little thing to do, and as I mentioned, they do have, you know, when we have it on the page, you would have, you know, a pocket inside the envelope, and then the whole thing could be a pocket. It could be this little flip out writing spot. Just as long as you've got one side anchored down, it can be the writing spot. And then, yeah, another pocket on the other side. That could be a double pocket. And what I wanted to mention is you could also paper clip them in if you wanted to be able to have the whole thing remove off of the page and then have this great big like double long writing spot. I personally won't do that. I would anchor one side down and then have one side be like a flip out writing spot, just so that I don't, you know, I wouldn't want to have a clip there myself, but you know, that's me. I hope that you like this little idea. As I mentioned, you don't have to use envelope bottoms like I did. You could just as easily do some folded up paper, folded up book pages, just as long as you've got the two sides glued down to make little pockets. You can make them out of anything. But yeah, pretty happy with those little stash of bits and bobs. So I'll put these away for, well, these daisy ones, I have been meaning to do like a spring green project, so maybe that's the next thing that I might work on. So I'll put those to one side to work on, do something with soon. That's a neutral one. And then, yeah, the bonus autumnal ones. Alright then, so as I mentioned, this idea is the 3-in-1. So we've got a pocket in the front, the whole thing is open, and then the whole thing can be a belly band or a side tuck. Really, really easy to make, and best bit, they use up some scraps. Alright, so this is essentially what I had. If you imagine, this is the rest of the envelope, so this is part of the flap, and then of course we've got the whole part of the envelope open. So all I did was just turn it on its head, so the flap is now the bottom piece, and this is essentially going to be a little pocket in the front. The whole thing is going to be open for a pocket, and then it can be a belly band or a side pocket going the other way. So essentially 3 pockets in one, which is pretty cool. And we get to use some scraps. So I've got various cardstock scraps. So I'm going to use cardstock for the pocket at the front, simply because where this is a pocket, we do want there to be a little bit of stability there. So using the cardstock rather than paper will help, but if you've got paper scraps, go ahead and use them, because you don't have to use cardstock. I'm just choosing to for mine. As I said, just to get that little bit of stability, but it's not like I'm going to be putting anything heavy in these pockets. So I'm doing it the lazy Justine way, easy Justine way, which is simply pop the glue down, cut around it. So we've got our first little pocket. Now I reckon I could get another one out of this if I am sensible. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut across the bottom so I've got a straight line there. Okay, and then once again just pop the glue on. This is pretty cool. This flap is going the other way for some reason. This must have been me cutting the other side of the envelope or something. So I've got a little pocket going the other way. So that's that. And then I'm going to go ahead and use book text for the background, mainly because I imagine when I come to fill these, I'll probably want to use some kind of leafy, long leafy tag in the pocket is what I'm thinking. So I'm going with a plainer background, I think. Oh, and one other thing I should say is, obviously we're decorating the flap. This means that we've got this part of the envelope, and that's best because this is going to get hidden by whatever paper you're using, and then the back of it is smooth, so if you're slipping something in and out of here, it won't catch. Alright then, so I'm going to go ahead and pop my book text down. So we want to be careful, because we want to use the envelope itself as a pocket as well. you don't want to get glue on the inside of the envelope. So even though we're going to do it the easy Justine way, we're just going to put glue on this back piece here, like that. And then I want this to go right to the bottom, whoops, right to the bottom. I think this is some Dutch book page that was sent to me. I've been hoarding it, but I'm slowly using it. It's always nice to have foreign text. There's just something about it. So I'm just cutting around that, and then you just need to do a little bit more gluing, and then essentially you'll have a cute little unique pocket that came out of something that, let's face it, you're probably going to throw the envelope butts away, weren't you? Okay, so because we didn't want to glue inside of the envelope, I'm just going to get a little bit more glue on the edge here, and then I'm just going to run some glue along the bottom just to try and catch that book text so it doesn't flap around all over the place. And then we're just going to put some glue just on that little lip and just along this long edge of the flap part. That creates our little pocket in the front. Obviously you won't fit a huge amount in there. Some tickets, a scrap of paper, a nice narrow, tall narrow tag, that kind of thing. And then just want to check, we've still got the envelope part itself open, which is great. Okay, so that's that one. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one done as well. Now just bring out these so I'm talking to you as I do stuff. So I did put a little bit of crochet along the pocket edge, but I didn't feel like these needed a huge amount of decoration because they're only small pockets, and where we're going to have a tag in the pocket, I kind of figured that's probably going to take up most of the space. So you can see here, this one was a bit shorter because I had a smaller book page to use. So I've got a little T card in there, and I may decide to do something at the top to decorate. But with these, you know, we're going to have this tall tag or something, and that's really going to be the part that decorates these. And the flap at the bottom is quite small, so you're not really going to get a huge amount of decoration on these, I don't think. So for me, just that little scrap of cardstock, some nice trim is about what I thought would be good for these, I think. So let's go ahead and glue this one. So again, I'm going to just check that the entire flap is glued, like so, and then just some glue along the bottom just to catch that book page. And then we can go ahead and glue up this part and do any finicky gluing. So that's my motto, it's just you get the big parts glued down first and then go around do all the finicky gluing after. So I've done the finicky gluing, and then whilst I was there I just thought I would go ahead and glue the trim on them. So as I mentioned, I will have to make some tags to go in these, but what I'm going to do is make tall thin tags that have some kind of like leaf going up there. I think that will be just right for those. And then this one, I didn't have any more thin trim left, I only had big pieces of lace. So I grabbed one of my scraps and I actually put it through the middle of the pocket, and then I just decorated it up, and I think that looks just lovely. So that is those. So that, as I mentioned, that is 3-in-1 pockets. So we've got the pocket in the front there, the whole envelope is still open as a pocket, and then the whole thing can be a belly band or a side tuck. So that's 3-in-1. And then of course we've got our like over the page type of pockets, which we've got pockets in the top there. And then depending on how and where you put these, you could have part of this open for some journaling space. So one of the sides could be. Yeah, I mean you could even tuck these into things. There's so many different ways to use them, but they all came from envelope butts. So don't you be throwing those away. There are things that you can make with them. So I hope you enjoyed these ideas, and yeah, look out for when you cut down envelopes, what can you do with the leftovers, because I'm sure there is something you can do. So thank you ever so much everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.